Okay, hello my friend. Hopefully that you are doing great. So in this lesson, I want to share you one more feature that TestNG supports. We call it the data provider. So for example, you want to test for the login base. So basically, what you expect that if you enter the correct credential, it should navigate you to this secure area, and you can see some information on, for example, we call this the user dashboard page. But if input a wrong credential like wrong username or password and you hit the login button, so basically you will see something like this one, right? So this is just a small case, but imagine that you have something to test in your application that you need to provide a set of data, and you just want to run only one test, but you change the data, right? So in that case, the TestNG provides for us a very useful feature, and it's called data provider. Okay, so now I want to demonstrate a very basic about that. So we, under the test bucket, we create a new bucket with the name data provider to explore about the data provider. And then after that, we create a new Java class with the name test data provider. Enter. So in this class, I will create a test method, public void, something like login with maybe just login. So here, this is the test method, okay? And then what I want to do that I want to provide for is a data provider. So here you open and you put something data provider. You can see this is data provider at default. And here you need to input a string. So in this case, I will input something like login data. So when you declare something like data provider is login data, that means you need to create another function with exactly name login data to return the data for this login function. Okay, so now what I want to do that I will use another annotation with the name data provider here. And then I will create publish. But in this case, I want to return an object as a two-dimension array to return the data for this method. So that means the return type should be objects, and it should be two-dimension array, and with the name this one, login data, okay? And you need to return a two-dimension arrays for this one. So because we are going to use in the login method, so what I want to have, that I want to have a string, a username here, and another string, a password value. So I will wait the data from data provider, and that will automatically provide for me username and password here. Okay, so in the next two lessons, we will learn about how to get the data from Excel file to input the data. But now I just want to provide some static data here, and then we can use here. So what I want to do is I will create an object, two-dimension array with the name login data equal new object, and I want to put something like two row and two column. Okay, so we have two row and two column here. Array with two rows and two column here. So for example, let me try to put something here. So for example, we have first thing is this username, and the password is super secret password. This is the first one, and the second one something like the same username here, but for the password we can put something like 123 here. So obviously the password is incorrect. So we have we have an array with 2 dimension here, 2-dimension array here with 2 rows, and we have 2 columns, right? So let me try to return the login data before we add some data to this one. So we will use something like login data, maybe the first row and the first column. So this is the value, right? This is the first row and this is the first column, right? Equal this value. Now the first row but the second column here will be this value, right? Let me try to duplicate first row and second column here, this value. And I will copy this one. I put here. So the second row here, but the first column still the same username, but for the second row here and the second column here is will be something like 1 through 3. So you can see here I have just declared and input the data for this dimension array, right? So what I want to do now is inside I will try to do something short. I want to print out the username and then I will plus with one tab, and then I plus with the password value. Then I want to run this one to see whether we can get the data from this provider or not before we can open some test and run it. Here I run the login. So you can put in a TestNG XML file, but in this case, just want to run this one. So you can see here we could get the data out. The first thing here is the first username Tom Smith. The first password is superscript password here with this side. And you can see the second one is Tom Smith and the second password is 123 here. Okay, actually we don't have this one. So now what I want to do that I will use the pay objects that we have before. So this is the login page, right? So we have login page, input username, input password, and click on the login button. Okay. So before doing that, we need to extend the driver page, and I want to run it in parallel, right? So basically, what I want to do that I will create web driver here equal get driver from driver page here. After that, I will create a new login page equal new login page, and I will provide the driver instance. So what I want to do that I will call login page dot input username dot input password dot click on login button here. Then I will provide username, I will provide password here. So now, if you want to create a TestNG XML file, you can do it. But for me, I just simply open this one, okay, and then I run it. Because you already knew how to create a new TestNG file, so I don't want to do it again. So I just show quickly here for you, okay. So I run this login. And this is the first one. So there's something wrong here. Toolbars. Failure 2. So what's the failure? Let me see. Oh, sorry. Because you know what? We did navigate to the login page. So that's why we got the failure. And what I want to do that in driver page, when I get driver here, what I want to do that I will try to get driver Okay, anyway, I can let this one, and then we can have something in the test, as I remember, maybe in the authentication, normal login, not this one. Smart here, login test here, as I remember here. Okay, so we can use this one. So go back here, and then we can go driver.get URL, current URL. This is the login base. So by this way, I think we need to create a new test XML file here, because I want to you remember, you can remember something like, let me see. We have the environment variable here. You see the text and the testing URL that we do before. So let's try to duplicate that one, and we can call something like test data provider. Okay. And the class to test is not this one, but it should be test.dataprovider.testDataProvider, this class. And now I will click on OK, and now I just hit the run button here. So if you navigate to the login page, and the second one will input, you can see here. As the result, it will print out. This is the login method with the first set of data. This is the login method with the second set of data. So you can see here, we have just used the data provider in TestNG, and then we can provide. So let me try to summarize for you something. So first, if you want to use the data provider here, and after the test, you need to do something like provide data provider. This is the default. You cannot change it. If you change to something else, it will be failed because we don't have that attribute, okay? And this string, actually, this is the method name, which is provide for us the data. So basically, it will return for us a two-dimension array with the data. So in this case, I want to get some static data first. So I declare a new two-dimension array with two rows. So this is two rows. The first dimension is the row, okay, and the second one is the column value. So and then I put some value inside. If I run this one, it will automatically provide for me two data sets, the first row here and the second row here, and then I can view here. So if you want to get the data, you need to provide some parameter here. So the first one will be matched for username, and the second one will be matched for password. So by that way, you can run your just only one test method with many test data. Okay. So try to practice yourself, and in the next lesson, I will share you how to get the data from an Excel file, and then we can use the method to get the data out and then provide for the test methods. Okay, so bye for now and see you in the next lesson.